AI SEO has just created a massive opportunity for brands that are in extremely competitive categories to compete with these larger incumbents when it comes to search and discovery of new product categories. For example, say you're a CRM and you're trying to compete against HubSpot or any of these other massive companies. It's going to be extremely hard to outrank them on Google. But the rules for how you rank on AI SEO are totally different. It's really just branded mentions, not links, that decide whether you rank or not within AI SEO. And so today I'm hosting my friend Joe Davies. He's the founder of a company called FATJOE. They specialize in link building, but also do digital PR and content production as well. But on this episode, we're going to discuss the tactical things that you can do to increase your referral traffic from AI SEO. Joe's going to share how his data is showing that there's a 3x higher conversion rate on traffic that's coming from chat. And the reason behind that is because by the time they're hitting your website, they've already done hours of research using these AI chat technologies. So they're already buyer ready. He's going to share how guest blogging is the most effective way to increase your branded mentions, and then also has a laundry list of things that you can do to compound these AI SEO companies' likelihood of scraping your site. For example, having really well-defined docs that go in extreme detail and have huge fact sections. And this episode is brought to you by Talent Fiber. Talent Fiber helps you hire the top 1% of global talent. For example, you can get software engineers with 7+ years of experience. They have worked for US companies, and they are going to be working multiple jobs because they sign a contract with you. Talent Fiber isn't a headhunting agency. They're a fully managed HR department, so they handle compliance, employee happiness, and how they can get the best talent is because they offer the equivalent of a 401k or health benefits in that country. You can typically get candidates hired in 1 to 3 weeks, depending on the role that you're hiring for. So go schedule a free discovery call at talentfiber.com. With that said, let's get started with today's show. Joe, what's good, man? How you doing?
I'm really good, mate. You?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. So I'm so stoked to have you on the show. You're a veteran in the industry, like link building. I feel like it's such a deep domain knowledge for you and your team at FATJOE. And so I want to really just to have you on to understand kind of what's happening in the AI SEO landscape. How is link building a part of that? And what are the tactical things, kind of that we're seeing? But before we dive into it, I I feel like the landscape is changing so dramatically, like when it comes to this. We're even seeing it in our data, over the last 3 months alone, the amount of referral traffic that we're starting to get from, Perplexity, ChatGPT, all of these has kind of skyrocketed. What are the things you're seeing on the front lines? I know you own a bunch of properties, whether it's blogs that you own or, client sites that you're working on. So I'd love to kind of just hear what you're seeing there and the trends that are happening.
Yeah, so it's crazy. The trends, just the click trends, which we know AI doesn't really say much traffic, but the click trends are already going exponentially higher and higher over the past 12 months. That's just to our FATJOE website. Obviously, I've got a few more properties, and I'm seeing some client data as well, which show the same kind of trend. But if you don't count click data, which a lot of it is just visibility, right? You can use some tools to check the visibility. That's going up and up and up. When you compare it against traditional search, it's still a tiny baby. It's still really in its infancy. It's tiny compared to the people that are searching on Google. But these early signs are really showing, wow, this is crazy. But then the most interesting one for me was the conversion rate from AI is like 2-3x what it is from a traditional search, because they're having a conversation with a consultant before they're coming on your website, and they already know you're the right option for them. They've got all this context about your brand. They come in really trusted, and they make a purchase a lot quicker. So in terms of a channel to invest in, this is going to be crazy. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, it's just going to be a really big opportunity.
Totally. Yeah, it's funny. The thing that we're seeing trend-wise, at least in the early data, is if the purchasing decision time horizon is long, they're doing a lot of comparison, a lot of research, which typically with software, it's like that, right? And that's where I spend most of my time now. It's a perfect place to be investing in because you're basically just trying to get them educated on the product, right? What we're seeing it not be as impactful is if they're trying to buy brown leather shoes or something like that. It's way more transactional. You're not going to do super deep research unless you're trying to understand, okay, what are the best brands from a quality to price standpoint, that type of stuff. But it's kind of fascinating to see well, I mean, we're seeing the same data. Like when they come from AI search, they're basically buyer ready, right? Like they went through the whole, marketing awareness funnel all the way down to the bottom, and
Yeah.
they're ready to sign up, etc.
Sure.
Are there any I keep asking people that I'm talking to that are in this space, like who shouldn't be focusing on this? Like if you're like, what companies, like is it not worth it yet to invest in, or are you just kind of saying, all companies, you should be doing some amount, and maybe we circle back around to like the the amount of search that's happening on these versus traditional like Google, because Google is still, I mean, it's still there. People are acting like everything is transitioning to all of this AI search, and I don't think that that's what's happening at all, right? Like
No.
it's to your point, it's a small percentage. So, anyways, I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on, again, the companies that shouldn't be focusing on this, the companies that should, and then like data wise, like is it, like why you should be still investing majorly in Google search.
Yeah, I think for now, I think the companies that have got some more subjective bias. So, like your example, like anything software, where there's like, it's not a commodity; it's more of something someone has to actually research. To buy a piece of software, they need to know, is it the right software for them? Has it got this feature? Has it got that feature? Um, you could argue some e-commerce is like that as well. If someone's buying a laptop, for example, does it have this processor? Is it, I recently bought a MacBook and I used ChatGPT. I asked it loads of questions back and forth. Then it told me, this is the model for you. And it was way better than Googling. It was way better than reading blog posts because it was just my own assistant just telling me what I needed. Um, Companies that probably shouldn't do this are, eh, I think as time goes on, I'd say every single commercial company should really invest some time or some effort into AI. But I think for the most part, unless you're like a really subjective brand or product or service, you could probably just rely on your SEO at the moment. I mean, if you've got good SEO, you ain't got to worry about AI. You are going to get recommended because SEO and AI kind of look like the same thing when you zoom out. It's and you could say the same about marketing as well. You zoom out far enough, it's just be the best. And I know we've got our little hacks and we like to hack things and do link building and stuff, but you kind of get it catches up with you in the end if you're still not a good brand. So I think, yeah, for the most part, I'd say anyone who's like a commodity, like you say, brown leather shoes or whatever, you haven't really got to be worrying about AI yet. Um, but also, I'd say the people that are in like the content business, like the old affiliate guys and the people who are like running ads on content, I can't really see a play for them in AR yet. Like, they might get sourced and stuff like that, but I don't think it's a good play for them. So, yeah, a long answer short, I'd say anyone in a commercial kind of business should be looking at AI probably from now, I'd say.
It's really interesting. Totally I agree on the like niche sites, affiliates. I feel like where's the path forward, right? Especially when it's
Yeah,
like general knowledge that's not like deep expertise that's needed.
yeah,
I think people are just going to go. Also, it's like I can go to Perplexity Labs, do some type of deep research, and it's going to give me something that I can chat with, literally have like a voice conversation with,
yeah,
and have it educate me based off of what it learned. So I don't. The only thing that I'm seeing that, and I have a friend that does this. It's basically these. I don't know if you would call them like directory websites, but it's like, deep, weird information that's like they're aggregating and then writing based on. So like
right, okay,
an example is like they're scraping Google Maps for all of the review data of like all these like specific locations, whether it's like parks or something like that. And
right,
then based off of like, what parks have what features, like does it have shade? Does it
right.
have,
Like
a
a
certain amount of benches? Yeah. Yeah.
programmatic
And
site,
so
right?
totally. And so like that is almost, I think that feels like a totally new thing where it's like, aggregating data and then
Yeah,
reorganizing it and combining it into a new thing. That feels like the only niche like affiliate play because I don't know if AI will be able to do that. At least right now, it's like, it's
no,
not going and scraping 100,000 Google Maps reviews and then
no,
creating
not
a
yet.
database based on that information, right? So,
Yeah,
but anyways, to circle back around, I'd love to hear some of the tactical stuff that you guys are seeing. I mean, on our side, we're just like, if you're AI loves listicles, that's what we're finding. Like branded mentions are such a huge point of this. I think digital PR is going to become like more and more of an important thing for companies. Like we're kind of seeing two two opportunities for the companies that we're working with. It's like, okay, actually, I just heard of a third one recently, so I'll share that as well. But basically, one of them is you go and you reach out to all of the URLs that are on page 1 through 3 of like long tail keyword, like best X for Y software. Reach out to the site owners, ask them for a placement, and basically, pay them and then give them like a high affiliate commission, right? That's like higher than your average. So that's like one. The other one is building versus or like really bottom of funnel content. So like X versus Y product, X reviews, X alternative, etc. It loves pulling from those, and like we'll see that we'll get referral traffic from that. And then on those pages, you basically have like a call to action to sign up for whatever their competitive software is that you're doing. And then the last one, I just heard about this like 2 days ago, actually, from a founder. They're basically going and ranking these sites for all of these long tail like listicles. And so then they own like the 5 of the 10 SERPs on page 1. And because of that, they're in like, they put themselves at the top of the list, or in the list at least. They get hot, those branded mentions are influencing the AI results basically when it is showing. So any other tactical stuff that you're seeing, or, what are you guys doubling down on?
Sure. So we're seeing the same things. Obviously, the listicle one, everyone kind of knows about that. Going out and seeing what listicles are ranking on page 1, 2, 3, 4 even, and getting your brand in there. If you have to pay for it, you have to give a good affiliate commission, send a product, get your brand in there. That's a nice, easy one. Obviously, we like to do things at scale. That isn't scalable for us. That isn't like emailing a site owner and sending them a product and stuff like that. So what we're actually doing is using our big relationship database with bloggers, and we're creating new ones. So we'll go to really high DR, high traffic websites, and we'll commission them to write a new listicle that we control with our brand, or our client at the top. And then we have competitors in that post as well. But one thing we do like to do is wrap context around the brand that we're working with. So what we realize is ChatGPT loves to recommend a brand for a specific reason. Like, it's not like Google where it just lists 10 things and says, okay, you just go ahead and look at them if you want. It'll actually go, this is the best CRM if you're a small business. This is the best CRM if you like the most features. This is the best CRM if you want the cheapest one. So it'll kind of gather this context around the brand. So what we like to do is context seeding. So on every review that we do, we make sure that the writer actually writes the context that brand wants to be known for. So if our client is a CRM and they've got the most features, we want to make sure that there's 10, 20 reviews out there saying this CRM has got the most features. This CRM has got the most features. So we really like repeating this USP. The AI or ChatGPT or whatever AI will then use that context. If there's enough of it, it will use that as its recommendation. Now,
Fascinating.
so what I like about this as well is obviously ChatGPT and all AI, they know a lot about the person that's asking ChatGPT. They know the history of the chats. They know if that guy likes features or girl. They know if that person likes stuff that's expensive or cheap. They know if that guy's got a small business. So the AI will go, right, this guy is asking for a CRM, but we know all this stuff about him. Let's find one with all the features and things that's been mentioned with the CRM and recommend that. So that's one thing we've been trying to really hone down is get a USP with a brand, which, I think really works well with AI.
That's such a good, such a good, just like tactical thing. I didn't even think about the like. I mean, we used to do this, right? Where it's like whatever your link is, we're trying to put this like contextual information around it.
Yeah.
That's even more important than it was previously, right? To like have it influence what you're, trying to rank for. The blogger network thing feels just obvious. Like, let's lean on the domain authority of these massive sites and like basically just spin up new art. So are you doing that more than like niche edits? I just feel like probably the niche edit side. I mean, again, it's like what you have 30 sites that you're going to reach out to, like for each of the. There's no way that it's just going to be very hard to compete there. So it makes sense to lean towards that blogger network. But
I think the blogger outreach is our obvious one. Because we're going to create new posts, and niche edits a little bit harder because they're going to be ranking for stuff that you've got no control over. You might have some posts, but you're going to run out very quickly. Whereas with blogger outreach, guest posting, you can create a whole new post and you can control what it's going to rank for. Um, there's an extension called, I forget what it's called now. Give me a second. Basically, you can, I'll find out what it's called. It's by a company called AIMA. And
Okay.
when you type a prompt into ChatGPT, it will tell you exactly the searches on Google or on Bing that it's doing. It will tell you, like, so you can put into ChatGPT best CRM. You click the extension, it will show you under the hood what ChatGPT is doing, what searches it's making, what sources it's using. So that's very interesting that it will search, it will go on Bing and it will search, like, you can type in best CRM, it will search best CRM reviews, best CRM comparisons, best CRM
Is it
2025.
ChatGPT path, Joe? Does that sound familiar?
Um, yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, is it by AIMA?
Yeah, EMA,
Y yeah,
AIMA.
yeah, that's it. That's a really good,
Cool.
if you're interested in this stuff, really good.
Totally. I know my audience will be stoked. They love this type of stuff. So, like any tools that you could, that you guys are using or stumbled across, they'll be hyped. Um, I, are you using any observability tooling yet? Like I know there's Profound, there's AI,
Yeah.
SEO tracker. Like there's all these different tools that are kind of. I'm not really like personally. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't really care how I'm viewed in these. Like I know how to influence it, so I'm like, I'd rather just spend my time doing
Yeah,
that rather than observing or monitoring it. But
yeah.
what's your thoughts around that, or where are you kind of focusing your energy? Like, does it even matter like tracking this?
I think I think it matters for agencies who are gonna be in this space because they're gonna need to report to clients. Um, so I think it is gonna matter. I'll be really honest, I think all the tools that I've tried Profound, I've tried Prompt Watch, I've tried LLM refs, I've tried Ahrefs one. They're all pretty bad. They're not very good. Someone's gonna crack it at some point, but I think right now they're just it's very hard to track something where the format is conversational. Like Google is very easy because everyone uses a keyword, everyone uses roughly the same keywords. With a conversation, you kind of like you can't vectorize that. You can't say, you could maybe pull out some keywords and do the visibility on that, but it's very hard. It's very unique and personable. So I think it's going to be a hard one for someone to do. But hopefully they do it soon, and hopefully ChatGPT and Google and Perplexity, they bring out some kind of webmaster tools for this as well, so we can see some visibility under the hood. But right now, I think it is important to do, but it's just there's no good tool to do it. So I think do whatever you can with Ahrefs or Prompt Watch or whatever. But yeah, they're just not very reliable.
Totally. Yeah. It's funny. I'm watching all these companies and they're like, yeah, we create like all this synthetic data and pump it into it. And it's like, if you really know your brand, like, the 10 things that they're most likely going to be searching, like to try to
Yeah,
find you. So it's like, I mean, just focus on those keywords. It's going to be pretty similar to everybody. I think it gets weird when it has the history of your chat logs and then that's influencing like what it's showing. That changes kind of the outcomes for everybody. But at that point, it's like, how are you even going to, rank or show that, or like it's going to be, if it's unique to every individual, there's no way to even like do that reporting. And so then it's
yeah,
like, okay, probably a deliverable, like, I'm just thinking on the agency side, having a deliverable where it's like we make 10 blog posts
yeah.
about like that include your product to try to influence this, like that's actually
Which
like
is
what
what we
people are
do.
going to be
Yeah,
buying. Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So interesting, man. So just to change kind of speed, talk to me about like AI content, where you see all of this going. Like what we see working right now is we basically like do keyword research for a brand. We go and scrape what's ranking on page one for those keyword phrases, put that into the context window. AI writes the first draft, and then a human edits it, and then we do like go into publishing and indexing, et cetera, and all the internally, all the on page that you need. Are there any like I know you guys were leaning really heavily on only human written content.
yeah.
Has that changed? Have you seen anything different, or like have you adjusted kind of your product? I mean, this is something we had a client talking to us about this, or they're basically like, should we set up a separate blog that's like only basically like included within the footer, and then have it just be like almost structured schema, because for some reason, like all this AI chat really likes that. It likes indexing that type of content. But
Yeah.
I'm just curious if there's anything that you guys have changed kind of on your content production side, based off of everything that's happening in the market.
Yeah. So, like you say, we are still very heavily on the human writers. That's not because we're so like against AI content. It's just the general consensus from our clients is that they really want to, if they're paying for content, they want it to be human. I'm sure they use tools and stuff to do their own AI content, but for the really high tier premium stuff, they want a human to look over it. A lot of our writers are probably using AI, not completely, but they're probably using a lot of tools now. It's getting harder to detect. As long as the output is really good, we don't mind on that. But we do have a content plan service where we do rely heavily on AI to do all the plan of like 100, 200 blog posts, clusters it all. It shows them like the most likely ones to rank or the most likely ones to kind of have good intent for their brand. So yeah, we're using it quite a bit, but in terms of us selling it, our sales have kind of like dropped for our lower end content because everyone just wants to use tools and stuff now. So in terms of the premium stuff, we kind of like we've got to be proud to say, okay, human content, and we have got 40 or 50 writers full time. So we're trying to keep them in business as well. They've been with us for a long, long time. So yeah, we're trying to like have a bit of pride about it. But yeah, we're not completely against it. And if companies want to do it, clients ask me about it, I say, it's absolutely fine as long as the content's good. It doesn't matter if someone in AI wrote it or someone in Birmingham or someone wherever wrote it. So,
Totally, totally. Yeah, we kind of, our focus is on two things. It's like, writing for what is going to rank on Google, and then writing for the dwell time, and like, is the human that actually lands on this content actually reading it. And I think
yeah,
it's like, if you can, whatever way you can accomplish both of those things, is going to be like, again, it's just produce. It's again, you zoom out and enough in marketing, it's all the same. Like, make the
yeah, it's
best
all the same. Yeah,
content you can to educate the customer. So,
yeah, yeah.
uh, but
One, one thing I
it's funny.
One thing I would say though is like, in terms of like ChatGPT, I think it helps to have like a really extensive knowledge base on your website, help docs about your product, every single question asked, every single feature explained, every single integration. Because even if it's not for visitors, I think the more the LLMs learn about your company and
Mm.
brand, the more confident they'll be in recommending you. So I think that's a really, very important content thing to look at. Um, informational blog posts on your website, probably not so much anymore. The same as the affiliate guys, the niche site guys. That's not going to be a play anymore in search or AI. I don't think anyway.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting, the help docs idea. I didn't even think about that, of like the surface area of the brand, of
Yeah,
like, I mean, we've been doing, it's funny, we've been seeing this more and more, where it's like the more branded mentions that are on Google, it feels like more like, sorry, on YouTube, like, these products, whether it's like tutorial content or just like, included as sponsorships, it feels like they get shown more. It's like almost these third party mentions is like where it's drawing all this information from. And I guess
yeah,
that makes sense. It's funny to think about it in a different way. It's like links to a site used to be how it weighted the value of that site, and more it's
yeah,
like branded mentions that exist online, which makes me just think about like, okay, are people just going to start like spamming the web with as many
yeah,
branded mentions as possible, even if it doesn't rank, right? It's just like, is more context for the LLM to scrape and interact with. So, but I'm curious your thoughts. Like, if they aren't, we're seeing in our data, again, it's pulling from page 1 through 3. Like, that is
yeah,
90%, if not more, of the sources that it returns, whether you're using Perplexity or ChatGPT. That's where it's getting that information from, and then it's aggregating and organizing it based off of the query you provide. Is it valuable to just, even if you're not getting these pages, I'm just thinking about the blog posts strategy you were talking about, like if they don't go to page 1 through 3, like, is it even valuable to do that, or do you need to get them to rank? How do you think about that, or kind of what's your intuition?
yeah. So I think when the LLMs like ChatGPT or whatever does a web search, you are right. It's only going to have a shallow kind of research where it's going to go to page 2, 3. It will go to page 2, 3 on about 3 or 4 different search terms, though. So there is a lot of chances. There's probably around 60 or 70 websites it could look at, depending on how many search terms it uses. So you've got a good surface area. But I think when LLMs update their knowledge base, like their foundational knowledge, their core knowledge, they might be scraping a lot further than page 1, 2, 3. So, you know, it might help. But yeah, I think I would be looking if I wanted to influence AI, I would really want it to be ranking, in those top 3, 4 pages, or it is kind of redundant. Yeah, if you like, I wouldn't do a listicle, a brand new listicle on a DR10, no
Yeah.
traffic. So I know it's never going to get picked up by any AI, possibly in a big core update of its foundational knowledge, possibly. But I wouldn't count on it. You want these to be ranking in the top few pages. But that being said as well, web search at the moment is only 3 or 4 pages, like 3 or 4 results. That could increase as the technology gets better. It could just go to the end of the, all 100 pages if it knew how to categorize it and order it. So yeah, I think at the minute I'd want it to rank. I'd want it to rank like top few pages.
It's funny you say that. So I was just using Google's AI mode on mobile yesterday, and it's sourcing from it looks like the top 100 pages.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
I'll try to link it in. Actually, let me see if I can look it up right now. And try to get it to do the exact same thing. I might only be on mobile currently. I think it is. But
Right.
basically, it's did a query, and then it shows researching, and then it's number going up 1 through 87, right, of these pages that it's sourcing from, and then it looked like it rank stacked the pages that it thought were the most valuable. It's
Right.
writing based off of these 8, and then basically returned a result from that. So it was kind of fast. It was the first time I had seen that UI.
Yeah.
And how you get to it is you basically do a search on Google Mobile, and then there's this AI mode tab that was it's all, and then AI mode was to the left of that. I clicked that,
Right.
and then it basically ran that search. So anyway, just kind of I could see that going in that direction. As
Yeah.
the bandwidths, as these get more sophisticated, they're going to source from whatever results that
Everywhere.
can
Yeah.
from. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I also think that it probably gets to a point too, right, where we're Perplexity or ChatGPT, rather than leaning on Google search results, they're going to just go and index
That's
the
our own
entire
index.
web as well, and then
Yeah.
return that. But can we dive deeper on this blog post process and get into the kind of the tactical, in the weeds about this? You talked about domain authority that you're looking for. I'd love to just hear how are you deciding on the keywords or the context you're trying to provide, around the keyword or around the brand name to influence
Yep.
this AI chat. How are you walk me through that process, 0 to 1? How would you go about that?
Okay. So what we do basically, we take the client's website. So the client will come to us with their website. We'll ask them a few questions. Obviously, we know their brand name from the domain, hopefully. So we've got their brand name. We want to ask them what their core service is, what their core product is. So, for example, if it's HubSpot, they're a CRM, but then we want to know their best, like their USP, their context or their brand salience. Brand salience is a big keyword that keeps coming up recently. It's when you think of a category, what brand do you think of? If you think of air fryers, you think of Ninja. If you think of, you know, I don't know, whatever, mobile phone, it's the iPhone. So having that brand salience, what is their thing they want to be known for? And then with that data, we're going to go and we do this in 5, 10, or 20. Usually 5 is good because you're going to get 2 out of the 5 picked up easy, within the next few days. Um, so what we look at is we want to go out to blogs and ask them to do either a listicle or a whole review. So we want to mix it up a bit because if you've got loads of listicles coming after you and you're number one, I don't know if ChatGPT thinks this deeply, but I'm just going to assume it does for my own sanity. I think it's going to get suspicious that there's loads of listicles about this brand and they're all number one. So I like to mix it up a bit. So we go listicles and whole review. The whole review will have cons as well as pros. So we're going to make the writer write something that's very honest, very kind of like positive, obviously, because our client's paying us. So we're not going to write anything, bad about the client, but we're going to write an honest review with pros and cons. This is for you if you're a small business. This is not for you if you're a large business and you like all these features, blah, blah, blah. And then we do the same with the listicles. We put our client number one, but we put it HubSpot, best for small businesses, and then a little bit of stuff about them. Now, we also link to 4 or 9 other competitors in these listicles, which is a kind of a weird thing to do to our client because they're paying for us and they're paying for these links, and we're giving all their competitors a link as well. Sometimes not a link, sometimes just a mention, but it's the same thing. So there's a bit of education to get over in this new world of link building or brand mentions, whatever you want to call it. So we're trying to get around that. Bloggers are also a little bit more cautious of obviously publishing promotional content. So they have to have a lot of, I don't know, we have to give them sort of authority to change what they want and give them the final say on everything. And then we go ahead and publish it. We may then do some tier 2, like link to the blog post to get them ranking. If we use a DR50, DR60, I know DR means nothing, but it overall, like in the grand scheme of things, if you use these higher authority sites, according to Ahrefs, and higher traffic sites, they start ranking these keywords quite quickly, especially if it's a bit more long tail, So yeah, they start ranking quickly. We'll use keywords such as best, the best 5 CRM platforms reviewed. Best CRM platforms 2025. We'll use like these combinations because what we're seeing from this extension is these are the combinations ChatGPT is using to kind of search. So we do that. And yeah, in all our early tests, we've seen that ChatGPT is using our sources for its answers now. So it's like it's using our
Yeah.
blog posts. We're also doing a lot of Reddit stuff. So we're
Mm.
creating posts on Reddit. We're answering
Yeah, a lot
posts
of
on Reddit.
parasite.
Yeah, and we're just trying to also solidify that. So we've got a double whammy. We've got like the forum stuff, and then we've got the blog stuff.
Yep.
There's something to be said about social media as well. I think it's got a direct sort of link into posts on social, posts on Twitter, X, so YouTube as well. We don't do any of that, but I think if you can get the whole sort of web talking about your brand with this context, I think it's going to get used very quickly.
Totally. Yeah. So just to mirror this back to you for the audience. So it's like find these long tail keywords that are related to the product category,
Yep.
Whether that's like a listicle or you're going to do like, best software for X, like reviews style. Then look for the questions that people ask about that product, like what's the best CRM for, whatever.
Yeah.
Categorize those, then find DR 50 to 60 sites, do a guest blog post on them, work with them. And then build those tier 2 links or those social links back to that to kind of, if you need to even improve their like where they're ranking currently. On the DR side, it's it's funny, more and more we just look at like DR is kind of the initial way we find a URL, but then we just go and are like, what is the actual traffic, that Ahrefs is saying they're getting, and that we're finding is like way more valuable than like a DR 50 site that has no traffic to it versus a DR 30 site that has 100 in verifiable monthly, right? Like that's the DA 30 with 100 or DA 30 with 1,000 verifiable is going to be like way more impactful. But on the tier 2 link side, are you doing are you just doing like niche edits to those? Are you doing like private blog networks like PBNs? Like, is it all just like very above the belt white hat, or is there anything that you're doing that's kind of like to kind of stack that link authority?
So we'll do some like DR30s or DR20s niche edits just because it's a little bit quicker. The niche edits tend to index a little bit quicker. We do have this service called content syndication, which is it's like a newswire where you put your posts on and you get this canonical link back. It's like It's
Mm.
really fast though, and they get sort of noticed or recognized very quickly,
Hmm.
just because they've got like there's maybe 100 sites it'll go to in the
Yep.
network, and it'll, maybe 5 of them will get indexed and noticed straight away. So we'll do that as well. Combination of those usually gives it the kind of lift it needs. But like I say, if you've got a high traffic site, you don't need any help usually. I think it start and a lesser known category, it does start ranking. But if I was a brand, for example, and I was doing this in house and I wanted to start doing this, obviously I'd look for the listicles already ranking as a first, as a first project. There might be there might be 5 or 4, so it won't be a long job. But I think do that first. That's your best bang for your buck.
Oh, it's amazing, man. What should I be asking you that I'm not right now, or like what are you excited about in this whole space? I know there's tons of people that have like been focusing on whether it's TikTok SEO or like there's kind of all these things that are going on, but in relationship to this and this new media landscape, especially like new search media landscape, like what are you getting excited about, and what am I not asking you about that I should be?
Well, I think I'm excited about this new GEO landscape or AISEO. We're gonna have to all agree on an
I know
acronym
we
for
all
this.
need to agree on a name.
But, I'm getting excited about this because I think there's gonna be a lot of new cool, agencies come around this time. So I think it's gonna stir up the landscape a little bit. I'm also excited for existing SEO agencies that really adopt this because there's been a lot of AI deniers. You see everyone on LinkedIn saying, "Oh, AI is nothing. No, it's not gonna take over Google. Google's the one to focus on." So I think it's gonna be an exciting time for that. So I'm really I'm really interested in helping agencies, you know, really sell AI to their clients because if they use FatJoe for their deliverables, I'm happy with that. But it's just gonna be an exciting time, I think. Um, but also, as well as that, I don't think people should be abandoning SEO because SEO is gonna be traditional SEO, that is. It's gonna be the foundation of ranking in AI, whichever way you look at it. You can do these brand mentions, you can do all this, other stuff on Reddit or whatever, but you still need to have this foundation of good SEO. You're gonna need backlinks, you're gonna need all of that stuff. Even if everyone moves to ChatGPT and uses ChatGPT, they're using a search engine for the time being. And I think even if they build their own search engine, the majority of it is gonna look like a traditional one because they're gonna have to order the web, like the millions and millions of pages in some kind of primitive way. Not, they're not gonna be able to understand every single page. I might be speaking too soon, but that's how I'd see the next 10 years anyway. Um, but yeah, excited for it.
Nice, man. No, that's I agree. I think there's I think we're gonna it's still so early too. I think that's like a big piece of it. It's like very it's in its its toddler age of
Yeah,
kind of its
yeah,
growth. So like I don't think anybody really knows what's happening yet, and it's gonna get more sophisticated as time goes on. I think for all the founders I'm talking to, I'm just telling them like branded mentions, like
yeah,
and make yourself look like a real company as much as
yeah.
possible, right? It's like
I
be
think it's sorry, I think it's
no, no,
like
please.
I think it's like easier to look at it like that, like just be a real company because when you zoom out, it all looks the same. Like people ask me, "What's the hack? What's the hack?" And it's like, well, you could do branding mention, start a YouTube channel. You could, do Trustpilot, G2, get some reviews on there, have a great product so people talk about it. But they still think of they think I'm telling them hacks. That's just being a great company and doing great marketing, and that's going to help with AI, SEO, whatever you do. So
I totally agree. Awesome, man. Well, this has been great. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we jump off, or anything you're working on, or do you want to promote? Happy to link to all of it as well.
well, if you I don't want to sell anything on your
No,
podcast, but
man, this is your slot. This is the moment that you just provided so much value.
if you're interested in brand mentions, we are doing a service for that. fatjoe.com/brand dash mentions. But if you just want to learn anything, I'm happy to talk to you on LinkedIn. Just search for me, Joe Davis. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll include that in the show notes, Joe, and then all your socials as well. Thanks for coming on, dude. Well, I'll have you back in like 6 months, and we'll talk about the state of the union of what you're seeing,
Every-
especially on
Everything
the
would explain.
tactical, like, off page stuff that you're seeing work. So thanks again for coming on, man.
Cool, mate. No worries.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.